Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Happy Friday, everyone. Hopefully, you guys have had a pretty good week. It's been very, very busy on many fronts for us, and the weekend is not going to be any different with Super Bowl weekend here coming up this weekend. We're going over to after we do some yard sales in the morning. We're going to go to the Super Bowl experience over in the part of town we don't like going to. That's down at the Strip. And we're going to be a part of that madness and checking it all out. But it's something you kind of got to do when the Super Bowl comes to your town. So, and then, of course, Sunday is just going to be a chill day. Maybe doing a little bit of work in the morning, but doing nothing but watching the Super Bowl in the afternoon. So hopefully you guys have your weekend planned out for you. This is a subject I was going to make a dedicated video on, but I just kind of figured that it was just as good to just do it in a live. And that is the Shop Safe Act. And it's not a new thing. This is something that was shot down back in 2022, back in August of 22. And the Shop Safe Act is actually an acronym for Stopping Harmful Offers on Platforms by Screening Against Fakes in E-commerce. I mean, I don't know who you hired to put this together.
Mouthful.
I mean, it's like someone was playing Wheel of Fortune and came up with that. I don't know, but they shot it down. Congress shot it down with the assistance of about 25,000 sellers who signed on to the site that eBay has dedicated. It's called Main Street, and you can check it out. There's a link in the description box of this live stream / video, and it's a good idea to just go in there and sign up. Put your information in, your email, and it's sort of a virtual signature kind of thing. And plus they'll send you emails when they need sort of like a call to action. And I think all sellers should be involved in this process. Even if you have disdain for the site, or if you have this disdain for what eBay has done to itself over the last number of years, if your livelihood depends on this platform working properly and not booting you or others off the site, well, then it's a good idea to get involved. And I know it just sucks to advocate for, an entity that maybe you're not happy with, and many out there are not happy with it. But what else are we going to do? We can't just sit on the sidelines when things are happening. Now, I wanted to show you this article here. And it is the article that was put out by Ina Steiner, E-commerce Bytes. And it goes on to read, eBay would be forced to enact a 3 strikes policy. In fact, I think I have, okay. I hope it's big enough for you guys to read that. Try to get it bigger for some of you guys who might want to read it. We'll just go with that. eBay would be forced to enact a 3 strikes policy if a new law is passed, it warned sellers. A reader forwarded an email they received from eBay's government relations department containing this information. In the notice, an eBay seller advocacy specialist on the GR team said the Shop Safe Act had been reintroduced back in September of this last year and included several provisions that, according to eBay, would allow big brands to punish small sellers. That's like 90 some odd % of the people watching right now, and including a 3 strikes policy requirement. I'm sorry, I didn't scroll that. One provision in the current draft of the bill with serious consequences for small businesses on eBay is a 3 strikes policy, which will require all platforms, including eBay, to permanently ban sellers with 3 alleged counterfeit takedowns from the platform. Let's say that again. One provision of the current draft of the bill with serious consequences for small businesses on eBay is a 3 strikes policy, which would require all platforms, not just eBay, but including eBay, to permanently ban sellers with 3 alleged counterfeit takedowns on their platform. So this means that many eBay sellers could potentially be targeted with false Vero takedowns by large brands that want to control who sells their product online. And goes on to say the advocacy specialist said eBay was looking for sellers based in Kentucky who sell branded products who would be willing to voice their concerns about dealing with brands that flag their listings when they know they're not counterfeit and accuse sellers of using brand stock images. If you're interested in available in discussing Shop Safe and Vero, please let me know a couple of dates and times, blah, blah, blah. So this is nothing new. We had to fight this in 2022, but if sellers sit on their laurels, then it's going to tell folks in Congress that people really don't care about this, and they may just side with these brands. But this is not good for resellers, guys. And I hope that you guys realize that, yeah, you don't want extra emails. You don't want to have to give your email out. You don't want to have to sign up. But I think it's very important that, aside from doing the obvious, which may be even writing your senator or congressperson and letting them know that, you don't support this act and not to vote for it. This is a bad thing because, see, there's nothing stopping someone from going to your listing right now and reporting your listing as counterfeit. It happens all the time on Amazon. It is so cutthroat on Amazon. You will list, or actually you get on a listing. Let's say brand X has an item that you have and you're ungated, meaning you're allowed to sell that item. You're approved by Amazon to sell it. And then you go on there and put your item on there. Brand X can say, no, we don't want anyone on our listing. They'll report to eBay, or not eBay, but Amazon, that you are selling a counterfeit item without any proof. It'll be taken down and a strike will be hit against you. And there's nothing you can do to do that. And now, Veros, what does eBay tell you? Reach out to the email that started this Vero complaint. Well, half the time it's a bot in the back room or AI that's picking this up. And I know this for a fact because you guys know the story where I listed a Logitech computer keyboard. Logitech's a large company. And within 15 minutes, no lie, within 15 minutes, it was taken down and it said that complaint came from Logitech themselves. No company on the face of this earth is that fast to report any, and eBay is not that fast to even react to an email they get from a brand, okay? I don't buy it. But the thing is, if this is allowed to happen, then it's a green light. And if you're selling these items, you're going to get knocked off. I might get knocked off. And for those of us who actually use eBay for our livelihoods, because Bonanza ain't got it, it ain't going to it ain't going to replace eBay. Well, we're in trouble. And this is serious stuff. So nothing to get all panicky about right now, but I think everyone watching needs to take action. Take 5 minutes and at least go to the link that's in the description and get signed up and show your support for eBay and all the other online platforms that are fighting this. If you want to remain on a platform as it is, it's already hard enough to sell on eBay with the Vero complaints and the counterfeit complaints we have now. Can you imagine how it will be if you're on your second strike, right? And you're like, oh my God, how are you going to want to list on the platform? Because your next item that you list could be the last. Not a doom and gloom message. It's just being real, guys. And I think it's easy to get comfortable and think, nothing's going to happen until it does. So please, I've already done it. I already signed up. So we have Guide Guru with us. Thank you for the super chat before we even begin, but thank you. Happy Friday, Flippin' Fam. Sales are actually up 27% compared to end of last Q4. I can't account for this as nothing has changed in my end. I'll take it. Yeah. And I got to say that I think I talked about this maybe Monday or maybe last Friday, but it's been about a good solid 2 to 3 weeks for us. Like the last week of January has been solid. Yeah, a couple days here and there where we didn't get a whole lot of sales. But, I mean, we're talking on both accounts, we had 10 sales, which is pretty good for a weekday. 5 on the secondary account, 5 on the main account. And we're starting to introduce a lot of the better items that I may have listed on the main account. Like a lot of the stuff I get at the yard sales and or like the shoes and things like that on the secondary account. And we're getting some pretty decent activity on the store. Today have I think maybe what did I make today? I didn't even think to look at it, but Looks like just to give you an idea of what we're doing here. Today 280, not bad. Yesterday 392.
And the day's not over.
And again, remember, this is the main account. The other account's getting around $100, $150 a day. So I'm getting very close to what my main goal, my first goal that I set a while back, to try to get to $500 a day in sales. So want to know what you guys, how are you doing down below in the chat? Of course, try to give us an idea of what you're selling, so others who are selling within that same category can get a pulse as to, you know, how they compare to sales. Someone with no sales in a certain category sees that someone else in that same category is killing it. Well, it might point to another problem that they can possibly look at and fix. You know, that's kind of the whole point behind it. So Gail Carlson, and thank you, Guide Guru, for that super chat. I appreciate it. Gail Carlson says, hello, John and Jenna and FAE family. Thanks for being here. We have Jerry Johnson says, hi, everyone.
Hello.
Flip it good. Just happy Friday, John and Jenna. Go Chiefs. I'm pulling for the 49ers only because as a Raiders fan, and I'm wearing red right now as an Angels fan, but as a Raiders fan, it would be kind of blasphemous to root for the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl. You got to understand that. Rain Galaro says, hello, everyone hope everyone is doing well.
Hello.
So thank you for being here. Guy Drew, Mr. Galt, I feel for you. Your last video, whatever your decisions are, I'm sure you'll make the right ones. Yeah, I haven't spoken to him today. We filmed the Power Hour. We have a guest on the Power Hour tomorrow, and I'm sure you'll like our guest a lot. I know Josh was very involved in that conversation, so we'll keep that as a surprise until that launches. But yeah, I don't know what Josh is going to do. Hopefully, you know, he makes the right one. It would be a shame to, you know, move away back to the corporate world or whatever job he was doing in the past when he truly enjoys doing what he does now. You know, that would be just a tragedy. Grandma Mary's Addict says, happy Friday, everyone. Well, thank you for being here. Happy Friday to you. And then Larry Todd says, howdy.
You said you weren't going to call him.
I know, I got to stop it, but it's like a thing now. It's like a thing. I'm sure he's used to it by now. I'm sure he introduces himself as Larry Todd at this point. Duncan says, hello, a wet day here in Sydney for Chinese New Year. Also celebrating my dad's 87th. Sales still good. I hit the like 2 sold for 100 to repeat USA buyer. Well, that's awesome.
Nice. Well, happy birthday to your dad.
Yeah, happy birthday, Dad. 87.
That's a good one.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine being that number. I don't know. But hopefully he's active and all is well health-wise. Andy's in the house. Thanks for being here. Karen Wolven says, off topic, anyone know anything about using PayPal credit card reward points to purchase on eBay? Customers made a purchase today wanting to use his reward points. I think it's like some of the programs I've used before. I can't give you an exact answer because I do have their debit card only, which I don't think draws a rewards point balance at all when you use it. But if it's anything like some of the rewards cards that I've had, and I do have, it's one of those things where you bank it and you can then apply that towards the balance that you owe, or you can have them send it to your bank account, right, as a cash payout. But as far as taking that balance and applying it to the purchase, I don't think you can do that. You use the card and then use that to pay towards the card. You can do that in most cases.
Yeah, you typically can't use a PayPal credit card reward point against anything like actual purchase.
Brenda Smith says, happy Friday, everyone. I will have to watch the rerun. I am taking the boys to play Alice in Wonderland.
Nice. Well, have fun.
Play Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
Okay. A little different. They're not going out to actually play Alice in Wonderland. Okay. But awesome. But thank you for being here. We've got Maya says, hello, everyone. Thank you for being here.
Hello.
Duncan wants to talk about promoted listings. When do you need to promote higher? When do you need offsite ads?
You know what, Duncan? Don't start trouble. Okay.
Is this a real
Friday.
question?
We're not going to dive into the P word. We don't want to go there. We're kind of skating on thin ice with that one.
Okay, so I'll tell you from my perspective real
I don't
quick,
know if he's being serious or not.
just in case you're being serious, but from my perspective, it all depends on competition. So you want to take a look at the items that you think should be selling. And I know this is probably just a funny question because I know your sales are great. So for you to ask this question, but just in case you're asking for a friend, look at the competition, look at the 90-day sold.
I don't think
see what's
Duncan
sold,
has any competition.
see who's selling those items, and then determine, hey, do I have a lot of competition on this, or is this thing just not selling? Determine that for a few items. For those items, you'll want to go in and promote, or at a higher rate if you're not getting any success. But the 90 days will tell you if it's an item that's even hot or not. If it's not, you have nothing in the 90 days for that item, then even promoting it's probably not going to help a whole lot. It's the item. Henri Squaw says, howdy everyone. Got my like in. Sales are slow today. Yeah, it's not. I'm not going to complain.
Day's not over yet.
Day's not over. People driving home from work. Let them get situated for a minute. Let them get in the recliner with their laptop or their iPad, and they'll start buying from you. Paul Rose says, happy Friday, John. Jenna and FAE gang, sales on the floor. Just 2 unpaid, 1 from last night, 1 from this afternoon. Shockingly bad. Yeah.
Has anyone, I'm maybe it's in the comments, but I haven't read them. Had any where you have sent offers or accepted offers and they still haven't paid yet? Because I have one, and it's been a very long time since this has happened, and I cannot tell you how annoying it is. I was annoyed before, but now it's even more annoying because it hasn't happened in so long.
Yeah.
So got one that if they don't pay by tomorrow, they out.
Yeah, and you don't want Jenna to be annoyed. She's not fun to work with when she's annoyed. So we try to get those kind of things resolved when we can. So hold on real quick. I'm just trying to do something here. I guess it's not going to let me. Nonetheless, hopefully you guys can figure this out. Those of you who are having slow sales, because right now is when we were able to kind of make our year start to happen last year. And it was very solid until about September, October, and then things fell off a little bit. I happen to kind of feel like that had a lot to do with what I was actually finding to sell. Things started changing a little bit by about October, November, a lot more competition for the things I was trying to get. Right now is a great time to get stuff to sell, whether at yard sales, whether at liquidation, however you do it, because you have more liquidation that's abundant from Christmas returns. Went to go pick up some liquidation today at 2 different places, and between stop A and B, I see a sign.
Distracted.
I got distracted.
Yeah.
I got distracted. I saw a sign that says we're having a yard sale.
And it wasn't, don't do it, John. His inner Jenna voice wasn't on. It wasn't working. Yeah.
And so I went down about a mile past the sign, and I said, you know what? It's only about it only set me back a half an hour. Why don't you go back there? Now, I had not a dime on me. I was not prepared for yard selling. So I decided, okay, well, maybe they'll do Venmo or Zelle or something like that. Do a U-turn, go back there. And this yard sale was like in their backyard. So it was like, come on back. We're having the yard sale in the backyard. And there's a couple people looking at stuff. And she's like, yeah, we had to close out our, she had like an antique booth. And she had a bunch of that type of stuff, a lot of old cameras and stuff that I looked up, and I'm using the phone, and she's like, oh, what are you doing? I just want to see what I'm looking at. I was Google Lensing. I just want to know what it is that you have. I wasn't even using the eBay app at that point. And sometimes when you Google Lens, you'll get to see some of the eBay comps that come up anyway. And saw that she had a couple sets of golf clubs, older sets. And, I'm just looking, and she's like, I got to, give you a deal on the women's set of golf clubs. And I'm like, well, they're kind of old. I'm not sure I want them. And she's like, well, $20 for the whole bag, the whole set, the bag set. I think there's balls in there and everything. And she's like, we got more over here. And I told her I saw them already, and they're kind of older, but I'll give you $30 for all of them. Like 2 complete sets. So like, well, I don't have any cash. And of course I already knew the answer. She's an older lady, You know, you don't happen to have Venmo or a Zelle. No, that's something my husband would have. Okay, well then I'll be back. And she's like, well, nice seeing you. I'm like, no, I'll be back. I'm going to go over to the ATM. And I came back and she was surprised because most people, when they say they'll be back,
Never
they'll come back. Picked up the 2 sets for $30. And I figure based on just the comps that I saw, the women's set, I can make 99. That's just the set, not the bag. The men's set had like a nice little Cleveland carry bag with like a stand built in, and some older clubs that I probably can make another 100 between all that. So overall, it was a nice little quick pickup that once I get listed with the spring coming, that we're going to get that sold pretty fast. So had we made this purchase in October, yeah, it probably wouldn't have sold until, you know, a month or two down the road. Baubles, Blings, and Needful Things. Lissa says, happy Friday already, FAE peeps. Hope things are looking up for everyone.
Hi, beautiful. I got my stuff. I don't have it on right now, but I have it.
And speaking of Friday, you're not going to be here next Friday.
I will not be here next Friday,
Jeez,
nor the following Monday, because this girl is going to see her son in Texas.
Yeah.
That's, you know, the higher the hair, the closer to God. Although my hair is not very high. I'm not.
So, as obviously I'll be here and I'll be doing the live. So hopefully
he's going to be doing the live, but he's also going to be taking care of the dogs. So that ought to be interesting.
No, because they'll be in their cages while we're doing the live.
Well.
Andy Reno, eBay sent me an offer for another $100 to try promoted. Now that's the offsite ads. If they're sending you $100 to do offsite ads, go into the advanced tab and choose your date range to be only 20 days. 20 days. So calculate 20 days. Usually takes a day or two for the program to start, and then assign $5 a day. Or you could do $10 a day over, say, a 10-day period, and to see which way. But I wouldn't spend a dime out of pocket right now, and you know, see how it works out. See if it helps your sales at all. My contact that I had a few weeks back, I haven't heard from him, and he's probably just done with the whole eBay idea at this point. Already irritated with his son's employee friend that kind of was making fun of him, we'll say. And I think he's done with the whole eBay concept for another year at least. So hopefully he reaches out later this year or next year, and or if he finds out more information, hopefully he'll give me a heads up. But there's no indication to think that's going to happen. Jovial Juggler says, hey, FAE fam. Happy National Chocolate Day, followed by National Pizza Pie Day.
Well.
Do we need a pizza pie?
No, we have soup for tonight.
We had soup from yesterday.
Yeah, I know, but we can maybe have pizza tomorrow.
So I made like the greatest chicken tortilla soup yesterday. It was just
the best.
I'm just saying.
I've never had tortilla soup, so I don't have anything to compare to, but
it was pretty darn good.
So flavorful.
Pretty darn good.
So good.
Where she's looking to eat leftovers, that means it was pretty good.
Yeah.
Callie Deb says, hello, John, Jen, and everyone in the chat. Hope you're doing well. My sales have picked up, but not great. A lot of crafting and holiday items of all sorts are selling now. Just hard to put a gauge in on, what categories, so at least you mentioned what you're selling. And when people say, hey, my sales are slow, it's like, okay, what does that mean? Are you selling clothes? Are you selling shoes? Are you selling sporting goods? Are you selling, ice to Eskimos? What is it that you're selling? And it would be helpful to know that, so that people who are selling in similar categories can say, oh, I'm not alone. Maybe it's not just me. Maya says, Paul, I have had a bunch of orders lately where the immediate payment didn't go through.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening there,
but
they need to fix it.
Could that be where they tried to pay and they thought it went through and they have no clue it's not even paid for?
Well, I've sent them enough messages.
Okay.
There's no reason why they don't know.
Well, Joe Samart says, howdy, John and Jenna.
Hello, Joe.
Fisher Flip says, good evening, all. And we have the Tampa Bay Picker, and we have Copper Cat from Arkansas.
Cat from Arkansas.
Yeah, guys, thanks for being here.
Yeah.
Todd says, wow, Jenna has some very nice swanky looking hair tonight. Swanky. I don't know. Is that a good term?
No.
Swanky. I don't know. Swanky is kind of it's.
What do you think swanky means?
Swanky is too close to skanky. Not saying that's what you are, but I just say that's kind of a weird term.
Wow.
You want to know my thoughts?
Swanky in my...
And there's another one that's like skanky, stanky. See, skanky, swanky, stanky. It's kind of all.
I think you might need to just be quiet.
I'm just.
You're really digging a big hole there, sir.
It's just too close. There's got to be another word.
I might have to up my trip.
Christy says hi from Southern California.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. Henri Squaw says, hey, John, did you see that Bard changed his name? Yes.
Yeah, I saw that.
It is now Gemini.
Gemini.
What does that mean? I'm scared. It's like these names are getting kind of more intimidating. Does that mean it can actually see things that I don't want it to see? I don't know. It's kind of scary, but I have used it. What I like about Bard and Gemini now is like, let's say I have an item that I want information on. I have these women's Steve Madden crossover. One was a crossover bag I picked up at a yard sale. And the other one was a little mini backpack. And of course, I don't know anything about this thing. There's no real identifying markers on it. There weren't really any comps, similar comps. So I go in and take the photo of the item and I put just a basic Steve Madden floral mini backpack, and then I hit enter. Now, the initial request that I've already used, and it remembers it, is just create an item description for this item or the following item. So it was able to look at the photo and look at just a 5-word title that I have in here, and it made a pretty nice item description that I could just simply copy and paste. And then I would just take some keywords that AI thought of using and to throw them in my title to fill in that 80 characters, right? So very, very good tool. You just have to have a Google account, sign up through Google, and it's free. Kevin Hawthorne says, good evening from Lakeland, Florida. Yes, thanks for being here, Kevin. Nice to see you. We have Tommy Bernard. Simmer down, Todd. It's not safe at your age. Devon says, hello, I will sign up. And Jerry Johnson says, I have signed up today for eBay Main Street. I think it's a good idea. If anything, they do keep you informed on legislation and stuff that affects eBay, and it's just pretty interesting. Todd says, I could have palpitations. Hope you don't have that. Todd says, hope you have the shock pads out just in case.
Oh, my God.
Ashley Sims says, hi, guys. And we have Basket Noodle. Shop Safe applies to all third-party marketplaces that generate over 500,000 in sales. So are you saying Bonanza doesn't qualify? I just don't even know how.
You're on one day.
I don't even know if they that could be a real statement. Do they even hit 500,000 in sales on their entire platform? Maybe they're exempt. We have Mike Camparelli says, hi, FAE family. Well, sales are in the toilet for me lately. Hope you're doing better, but I'm afraid that's not what I'm hearing. Keep grinding and hit that like button. I'll take an extra sale for sure. I'd say things are okay. I'm not at all complaining. Like I said,
it
to my
could be
goal.
worse. So I guess what we're experiencing now is consistent.
Have I compared any of my numbers to last year? I haven't done that yet. But really, the last 2 days, I didn't really list hardly anything. A lot of account maintenance. I think I had like a couple listings on the main account, a handful on the secondary account. And I was kind of like thinking, well, I'm just going to have to take a hit here. But sales have been coming in despite that. Guy Guru has a link here in the chat for the legalese. I believe also the
legislation.
But you put legalese. Legalese is like
warning,
legal
lots
speak.
of legalese.
Yeah.
I know.
But if you go to the article, and that's an e-commerce bites, it'll also have someone places a link there too. But there is the link. I don't know how you're going to click on it through the screen, but check it out.
They can click on it in the
those that are right now on the chat, but I'm not sure if chat's going to replay or not. Paul Rose says, Maya, I haven't had one of the phantom sales yet where it says it stays active. Last time I ordered, I had to pay instantly. I do anyway, but it doesn't seem to be the same for my buyers.
Are you okay?
I'm just fine.
I don't know if your tongue is working today.
I don't know. We got to check that out later. Anyway, Maya says that act isn't going to anything to stop fakes. They need to stop them from coming into the country. Whatever happened to U.S. Customs? So,
well,
that's
sadly, fakes are.
Yeah.
It's not ever going to end.
Yeah.
I mean, they're being made here. They are being brought here.
Right.
It's not ever going to end.
More brought here than made here, but you can go to any major New York street and come across the fake of something. But
yeah,
I don't think that's really it's a problem, right? But it's like one of those things where you punish everyone for the actions of a few instead of getting rid of the bad sellers that are doing this, and there's actual proof that they're doing this, not just someone's word, maybe someone trying to mess up their account, going in there and reporting someone for selling a fake when they've never bought an item from them before. But if they can send like photos of something like a Coach purse saying, here's what they sent me, here's what a real one should look like, kind of thing. Now you have some kind of definitive proof, and maybe you should do something about those folks before you just do something that's going to affect everyone. Who maybe someone just sells stuff by hand. What about someone who makes things by hand and they get a counterfeit claim? I don't know. I know this is a big brand thing.
It's just a setup to try and get people off the platform. I mean, quite honestly, it's just there's too many mistakes that are made calling a counterfeit when it's not.
Maya says, at my old job, I had a couple coworkers who sold fake bags, and they weren't even selling them online, only in person. Mm-hmm. Simply Shenanigans says, hey, John and Jenna in chat.
Hello.
Duncan wants to know where Roman is. Well,
he's here.
Is he? He just he gets his notifications later.
Yeah, he's a little behind.
He's on the YouTube.
He's on the John's reading comments late train.
He doesn't have all his notifications checked, I'm sure. Grumpy Granny says, good morning, John and Jenna. I'm lurking and listening as I'm driving to a neighboring town.
Hi, Granny.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Guy Guru thinks this is nothing more than a setup.
What? Hey, we're thinking the same thing.
Tommy says, my aborted detentions are up 5 times according to Texas Todd since 2020. Or to Texas Todd.
Texas Todd.
I've never heard of Texas Todd, but I'll take his word for it. Ashley Sims says, my sales tanked today. Not sure why, but the 8th and 9th of the month, I always have hardly any sales. I always dread the 8th. It's been my sales trend for at least a year.
Wow, that's crazy.
Basket Noodle says, it's a Senate committee. Okay, it's a committee within the Senate, but then they decide, this would be a good bill to put forth. And here we go. They put a bill forth, and you get enough people that think it's a good idea. It's sold well. And, here we are. We're dealing with it again. Maya says, yeah, Paul, if I accept an offer and I don't see the payment come through within a couple of hours, I just go send the buyer an invoice, and that's worked for me. Usually they think they did already pay. That's what I was thinking on the other one.
If they don't pay within the first 15 minutes, then something's wrong, because it's been happening literally immediately. And so I sent them an invoice like an hour later. And then the next day I was in the app and I sent them a payment reminder. And, I'm just going to let it be as a unpaid buyer. And
Basket Doodle says it aims to amend trademark law. And Guy Grew says, I think everyone here has had a counterfeit Vero. I'm sure that most people have had some kind of a Vero. And I don't want anything. Look, the fewer restrictions as sellers we can have against this, the fewer things we have to worry about, the better. There's enough to do as resellers to have to worry about what eBay is going to maybe do to our accounts. And I've had Veros that have popped up like within days of each other. You could go technically from a clean record to like off the site in like a week with back to back Veros, someone messing with you, someone. And
I mean, there's evil people out there that do this as just to mess with people's lives, and they think it's funny, and it's not. But you never know who's doing it.
We got Kim says, I hope everyone has a great weekend. I'm working tonight, but we'll watch the replay tomorrow. Okay, awesome. Or you can listen to us while you're working.
Or maybe she can't do that.
Maybe not.
Maybe she works for
what?
Someone where she can't.
I don't know. Todd says, Tommy, not according to me, according to U.S. Texas Border Patrol reports. But I thought he said Texas Todd.
He is Texas Todd.
But he's just a Todd in Texas of the many Todds. There could be another Todd that's in Texas.
Okay.
Brett says, happy Friday, John and Jen and everyone. Have fun this weekend at the Super Bowl event. The big game Sunday. I will be rooting for the Niners, but I would probably bet on Mahomes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've done my betting. We have the pools that I've done with people, Super Bowl pools. I think most people here know what those are. I don't know how many people are actually in a pool, but that's sort of like a tradition. And I'm still waiting after all these years to actually hit one. But, $25 win here, $25, $50 win there. But talking about hitting the big one is what we're trying to do. Basket Noodle, the legislation is vague in its use of trademark, not necessarily imply counterfeit. But it doesn't matter what the legislation says. It all depends on what eBay, how they enforce it, right? All under the guise of this or the spirit of that. And when you go to try to argue it, they're just going to say, well, that's our policy now, sir. Sorry, we can't help you. Ashley Sims, the thing is, though, that sometimes the Vero was wrong. Just got done dealing with a company called Overland's legal team. They were wrong. I was right. Items back up, and they apologized.
Wow.
But that
doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, that's more the exception than the rule.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you reach out, you hear nothing from these companies. They do even if it is started by the company saying, hey, take these listings down, which I think is true to an extent, but I do think you have bots that are doing it and saying it's from the company.
Yeah.
Are you going to hear back? I just don't see someone getting back to you from a big company. Backyard Mowing, defend the land down there, Silverhair. And we got Paul Rose says, yeah, I'll send messages tomorrow. It saves me heading out in the morning at the moment because I have nothing else to ship. We've done our shipping, had quite a few. Tommy says, stopping counterfeit is like stopping drugs. Too much money involved will never happen. Yeah,
exactly. Sad, but it's true.
eBay has tried to do a little bit of that by doing the authentication processes in their featured categories. Now, I'm not going to advocate that they have us send an item into a center for every category. That would be just insane.
God, can you imagine?
But they've got to do more than just take the buyer's word for it, though. I mean, if the buyer just claims something and they don't provide any proof, there shouldn't be any action attached to it. There's got to be, and even a company, unless a company does a test buy and they have the item here and they've compared it to the same item that they have and shown eBay, here's the proof, eBay shouldn't be required to take action on just hearsay. Let's see. Andy says, sounds like you wouldn't be able to buy from eBay either. Well, you'd be able to buy from eBay.
Well, if you have 3 strikes and they close your account, you would have, I don't know.
Maybe on the selling side.
Account?
Well, on the selling side, they might allow you to buy with that account or a secondary account, but they certainly won't let you open up one with the same IP. Marianne says, hi again. Well, hello again.
Hello, Marianne.
We have Action Jackson.
Action Jackson.
I remember that movie. I sell coins and someone said it I to me for my grade.
Slow down.
I sell coins and someone said I to me. Was that me doing it or is that written? Action. You're providing too much action for this Jackson. I sell coins and sometimes said I to me for my graded slab coins just to push me out.
Said I.
I.
What does I mean?
I don't know. And here you thought it was me. TBO, greetings from Central Europe. Awesome.
Well, hello.
Basket Noodle says it is very toned down from the prior legislation. So they're toning it down so that they can get enough people on board to pass it.
Yeah. Sounds like
and hopefully they don't attach it to some important bill, right? Because that's the last thing we want. We need money for this important cause that everyone's backing, but we can't put this bill through unless we slap it on to this one here and sneak it through. I could see that, something like that happening. Maya says, yeah, I think we can all agree that they are ever going to make a serious effort at stopping the counterfeits, even with this law. I'm sure you mean to say never. Yeah. It is so tricky sometimes reading. I'm really trying, guys. Tommy says legislation just brings things up to look busy. They rarely accomplish anything.
That is a fact.
Well, let's hope that that's the case here, right? It's just them yapping and get nothing done.
Flapping.
Basket Noodle says, I got to go, but all you can see more about ShopSafe by doing searches for the actual Senate committee hearings, which are publicly available. And that's kind of why I was telling people not to get freaked out about it, but it's a good opportunity nonetheless to go in and sign up for Main Street using the link down below. Costs nothing, and it keeps you at least aware when eBay is like call to action, here's what's going on, rather than waiting for someone like me to. It's for eBay Main Street in the description. Ashley Sims says they need to focus on feedback that claims counterfeit items. There's a trend and they should get shut down. I certainly think that if an account has let's say over a 1% ratio over 20, 30, 40, 50 purchases of claiming counterfeit, that should be sent to a team that looks at this account to see what the heck's going on, because it could be just someone that likes to mess with other sellers. Steven says, I canceled an order the other day and had to spend a day in eBay jail, but I'm out on parole now and sales are back. Wow. So that must have been, you must have had some other defects going on or cancellations that put you in that status.
That sucks.
Paul
I'm
Rose,
glad you're back out.
Paul says, I had a couple taken down as fakes, which weren't, relisted after a year gap and sold with no problems. It's just a crapshoot. And what happens, does eBay count, let's say, an item you send in to authentication? So let's say you have a pair of sneakers and it gets kicked back, and they, of course, they never tell you, here's exactly the thing that caused it to fail. But does that, without any company reaching out to say these are fake, just the fact that you failed the authentication process, does that count as one of the 3 strikes against you? I'm curious about that. Andy says, my store shut down last 2 days, got 1 sale. Got Vinyl Rob's comic books, 1 to 2 sales a week. That's now, is that a good thing or is that bad?
Is that good for you?
Yeah, I mean, it's all in perspective. Yeah. If I only sold 1 to 2 items a week, I would be freaking out.
I would die.
Fat Grandma
we
finds,
would starve.
Says, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And Todd loves his Taylor Swift.
Oh, God, don't get me started.
Yeah.
I'm so over that whole thing.
Yeah, I'm still bitter from 2006.
Oh, stop. Just don't. Enough.
She took my mojo. I'm telling you, ever since that day, she
didn't take nothing from you, okay?
Well, you never know. Hustle and Grow says, this is concerning, but it is not true that you can't do anything about counterfeit complaints on Amazon. I've defeated 2 of these with receipts from Walmart. It's IP claims that you don't want. Well, I tried to fight I've had 1, and it kind of made me feel like, I don't even want to sell on this stupid platform, because I bought the item from that company. I just never, I decided, well, let's just resell it, and never opened it. And it was quite a few months afterwards, but the idea that it was one of those third off-brand parties that you get in liquidation, that type of thing. Ashley Sims says, I guess if I get a sale today, the sole reason will be because I hit the thumbs up on the stream.
We are sending you all of the good.
Well, not the sole reason. The fact that you took the time to get it listed.
Work.
Right. I can't. The thumbs up's not going to help anyone if your items are in your garage and not listed. Guy Guru says, I'm rooting for the Taylor Swifts. I am rooting for no one. That's just going to be such a show.
Over.
It's just going to be
over.
It's just going to be a S show as far as I'm concerned. But Devon Short says, please hit the thumbs up. Yes, please do.
Do it.
Ping G's with us. Hello, John and Jen in the chat. Stephen J wants the Niners. We have Bill Miller with us. Tommy says, leaving Canada is the first step in the Reseller 12-step program.
Poor Josh.
Actually, he operates his business in New York State.
I know, but he may not be.
He may be
here
operating
very
it
soon.
from Canada here pretty soon, just to save himself some time. So it makes me wonder how that's going to change his sales.
Time and money, I would imagine.
If people get strikes on eBay, they need to remove them with proof of receipts or invoices instead of letting people constantly report each other's listings.
I agree.
Yep. Biff Boffo, when your secondary store is making sales that make you question the two-store theory, I would experiment with it myself, but I just sell in one niche and I need multi-orders. Well, to me, the theory is, you have one store and eBay caps the number of sales that you get, or the exposure after you hit so many sales. Sort of like the theory that Josh has, he constantly tells me, what is your your year over year for that month? And I'll say, well, we're at 65%. That's what I was telling him last month. He's like, well, that's why your eBay's capped you at 65%. I can't, I've never been able to exceed 65% year over year growth. And I'm like, well, maybe there's something to it, but I mean, there's no way to really know. It's just a theory. But when you now have two stores, now you have two different metrics that eBay is looking at. And so maybe there's something there. Why am I making better sales with two stores than the same items all in one store? That's kind of what's happening right now.
Nothing makes sense. It's all a bunch of just conspiracy.
And Todd says, sure hope Usher does a better halftime show than that Rihanna harmonic last year. I mean Rihanna. Was Rihanna? Rihanna, yeah. Sorry. So yeah, Usher is he actually came out with a new album.
Usher is what I went to bed listening to last night.
Yeah.
Thank you to John.
I had to download the new album and check it out, not bad. But I'm not one to really care about halftime shows because it's like splices of all these different songs thrown into one like 10-minute performance. And it's like, okay, I really don't care too much about that. And he says, Josh can still get health insurance being a reseller, Yeah,
yes,
you can. Bill Miller says, I hope your eBay sales goes well the rest of the year. Thank you. I hope you too. Everyone needs to hopefully improve their sales. I'm all for it. I'm not the kind of person that's, secretly rooting for myself and hoping everyone's going to be, falling by the wayside. There's people that joke about, well, we need sellers to quit so that it helps other sellers succeed. I'm not in that camp. We
want everybody to succeed, because if we don't succeed, or if you don't succeed, we're not doing our job.
Well, we like to help people, and that's the purpose of our
job.
Well, our job is to make sales.
Our job.
Aardvark Treasure says, hello. Thanks for being here. Bill Miller says, what items do you notice goes quickest and what sits the longest regarding items? So the items that tend to sit longer are some of the ones that I kind of take a chance on. Like if I like that tractor part, I still have that one. That's the one that comes to my mind first, where I paid $1 for it. And it sells for 200 something. The comps show 200 something, but I think there's been like one sold in the last 90, which isn't the greatest. But when I have that big of a ratio cost to sale or sold, I am more willing to buy something I'm going to sit on. The quickest, like the dog wheelchairs. When I get them, they're hard. They're not easy to get right now.
Anything that has to do with accessibility for people who are, maybe they just had surgery and they need it for their home, or they're, it's the end of, life and they need certain things.
Perfectly Blessed said, good evening. Love Jenna's hair tonight.
Thanks.
5-figure eBay seller says, howdy.
Howdy, howdy.
And She Picker says, hey, too new to the Reseller eBay group to comment on the cool kids crowd.
No, you're not.
You're not. Certainly can comment.
You can always comment.
Yeah, but I love the season resellers update us on important information. Thank you. You can always comment, because even if you're incorrect, it's a learning experience. Someone can maybe give you the right information so you can learn from it.
Or maybe something we don't.
We have Aardvark Treasures saying, watching and listening. You guys are my entertainment today. Well, thank you for being here. like to entertain. What's wrong? What's so funny?
I don't find us very entertaining.
I don't think I'm entertaining at all.
No.
I'm just I feel cringy
I
whenever
think it's
hear
more of
myself
our
speak.
banter that could be entertaining for an outside watcher.
I guess.
But
this is normal. I mean, this isn't the banter that you see only when the camera's on. This is like, in fact, I think this might be like the G or PG rated version.
Oh, this is for sure PG.
Yeah. Mike Gertis says, hello, sales are strong. Haven't watched an S. I haven't watched
S either. Let us know how it
Oh,
goes.
okay. Haven't watched the Super Bowl since 2020. Last time Niners played, I'm a Niner fan since the early 80s.
And you haven't watched the Niners? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it's just a thing. You know, you put a little money on it, it makes it more interesting. You know, out here in Vegas, they give us the sports betting apps. You know, you could bet on a player to run 50 yards or whatever, and I guess that's entertaining.
Not everybody is a gambler like you.
But this year, we may not even be able to hear the game because we're going to have a friend over that loves to talk.
No, he's not coming to our house.
Yes, he is, ma'am. I told you, you know this. He's coming over, and because this is his last year out in the States, he's going to be moving out of the country here this year. And I said, you know, I kind of felt bad for him. He just lost his dog. The guy's alone. And I felt, you know what? Why don't you come to our house for the Super Bowl? You know, we don't have a whole lot going on. We'll make up some finger foods and just hang out and watch the game, right? But I don't want it to be, let's talk about everything under the sun like this guy does. So I'm hoping that I'll be actually able to watch the game. Bill Miller says, thought would bring that topic. Sandra Hoyer is with us. Hi, all.
We have been doing this.
But Sandra has not been here lately.
And Sandra has been a part of this family for how long?
But she's been absent. So
wow.
It ain't time to scold me right now. Vinyl Rob says comic books, 1 to 2 sales a week. We just read that one. I know, but look, eBay can give duplicate listings. YouTube gives duplicate comments. Mike Gertis says, haven't watched Super Bowl. We already read that one. And Noah Design says, I'm sorry, guys. Call Larry Todd David Gandy if that helps. See, you guys aren't even putting the right letters in place. He is the world's second famous hand model, with Megan Fox taking first place.
Megan Fox.
Bill Miller says 90 days. That's way too long. I'm not sure in what reference that was to, but maybe something I said.
90 days, take it down after 3 weeks. Lost me.
No Design says, don't worry, Larry. I'm your #1 fan holding sledgehammer. Bill Miller says, please don't get Jen annoyed.
Yeah. You don't.
You don't have to live with it. I do. I know it. I know it. You guys don't know it. Andre Squaw says, I had one this week. I accepted offer, but it never has shown as sold or awaiting payment.
That's bizarre.
Guy Grew hit the like for the sale.
Yes.
Awesome. And we have Paul Rose that says, did that last expression survey, John, very short, just asking if I was interested in NFTs or the Metaverse Bazaar.
That's weird.
Hopefully they don't tell us we're going to have to buy through like these, what is it, the 3D glasses, or what are they?
Quit doing that. You're messing with the camera.
Am I messing with the camera?
Yeah.
Okay. Biff says, my sales are nice, but I'm expecting issues to rise like they did last year. This year, I'll just wait it out. If they do, all my wasted energy last year could have been used for listing.
Yeah, that's so true. Don't waste energy on things you can't control.
Well, from what I keep hearing, April 1st is on the radar for some people. I don't know if it's because last year we experienced a lot of changes around the 1st of April, or if people know something that I don't, but I guess we'll just kind of wait and see.
Well, April,
generally
Josh
spring
had a bad April, or it started in April.
The spring seller update, I guess, but who knows what that's going to entail. James Waddle says, yo, Scotland in that chat. Scotland in the chat.
I want to go to Scotland.
Jovial says, Jenna, off subject, I saw 2 women today with green ink tattooed eyebrows. Am I behind the times, or is this a new trend? Not appealing at all.
That is not a trend that I'm behind. That's I don't weird. Care what color is in.
I mean, because what if you wanted to wear like red?
Green?
I mean, you're gonna go out looking like Christmas. I mean, I don't understand. That doesn't seem right.
Like what shade of green?
Tommy can send you some Aquanet Extreme Hold.
No, I don't like hairspray, and I don't like using any products in my hair. I don't like it.
And then Ken's disappointed. Jen is not going to be here next Monday and Friday. We'll see you next Monday's live, I guess.
Actually, okay, so you'll see me on this Monday. You will not see me Friday, Monday, but you'll see me that next Friday. So 2 weeks from today.
Yeah.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
5-figure eBay seller says, not sure if it is related with the offsite ads, but I've noticed rarely seeing eBay listings when I do Google Lens. I think that has a lot to do with, site. I believe eBay and sites like Etsy are really, I don't know, throwing in the towel when it comes to how much they're willing to spend on offsite ads. If Temu and Shine, whatever, they continue to throw money at Google, at what point do you just say, okay, enough is enough? Yeah. Of course, you have your offsite ads where eBay will allow you to bid on certain placements through the click process, but I'm not going to mess with that for anytime soon. It's going to be at least 6 months before I get back into that game. Samantha Hunter says, good evening, John and Jenna. Jenna, you look well.
Well, thank you.
Mad Hatter says, I sell sports teams merch and sales are okay and steady, only at $2,200 for this week, and sales can always use more, but enough to survive. Have a blast seeing your son, Jenna, down in Texas.
Yes, thank you. I'm so I just cannot wait. You have no idea.
Is it more excited to go out there to see Tyler, or is it more excited to get away from me?
It's a bit of both, but it's the most excitement. I have not seen my son in 5 months. I have not. Well, okay, I take that back. I see him on FaceTime quite often, but I have not hugged him in 5 months, and I think that's probably the longest I've ever had without him. So
Drummer says, get a pizza. And Baskin Noodles has got to run. Peace out. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that.
Thanks for being here.
But that was like 30 minutes ago, so you probably never heard me say that.
Don't tortillas get mushy in soup,
well,
says Todd?
The way you do it is you fry up your tortilla strips and you garnish your soup when it's ready to eat. And you garnish it with cheese. Yeah. And it's pretty wonderful. You
fry up little pieces of the corn tortillas and you use it as a...
And they stay crunchy for a while.
They did.
They do. It's really good.
It's because I did a great job on that part.
Rob Something says, I've been running offsite ads for the past week and seeing good results. Caveat being that 75% of my listings are for a single brand, and I think that's what's helping with the success at this time. Maybe. I've not heard that theory. You have a single brand. Let's say you sell mostly Nike. If that actually hurts or help your sales, I don't know. Jerry Johnson says, I've had some Lindor strawberries and cream, white chocolate truffles calling my name. Ooh. Sounds pretty good. 5-figure eBay seller, Pensacola, Florida, representing that like button. Yes, hit the like button, guys. I might be off my game today. I'm not always on my game. For whatever reason, I'm getting tripped up today. So hit that like button.
He's
Maybe I can finish strong.
Real early this morning, and he's kind of been off kilter a little today.
And the most unprofessional reseller says, hello, I was the worst guest in the history of all the lives.
No way.
No, I enjoyed Roman.
I enjoy Roman.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Tammy says, my sales are slow. Everything seller, I did something I am regretting. I turned off all promoted listings. I see that hurt my store a lot. Turning them back on. Yeah, turn them back on. Now, it might take you a little time to see a difference.
For the momentum to build back up.
But just continue doing what you do. Don't allow sales or no sales to influence your routine. And you'll see consistency eventually. No One Design says, I don't know, John. I bet to differ. Your soup is the best. My 7-year-old granddaughter said hers is the best. She uses crayon for zest.
Crayon for zest.
Oh, boy. Guy says, I had a customer ask to cancel an order right after offer. I did, but then he ended up buying it again, thinking that he was getting a different seller. That's just pretty odd. Roman says, after I was a guest on John and Jenna's live, I was sent for by Italian mafia. Todd says swanky means high class.
Yes, that's what I was going to
But
say.
they make that word too close to the other detrimental similar words.
No, that's all in your mind.
Okay.
You need to get your head out the gutter. Even Mike says, be careful, John.
Look, it's not just me in front of the camera. It's just, I always have to be careful.
This is him. This is normal.
Karen says, hello, everyone. Thanks for being here.
Hi, Karen.
Maya says, John, at least wait until the live is over so she doesn't leave for Texas now.
I'm serious.
Yeah, trust me. I say worse things than on this live, and she puts up with it. Biff says Gemini is an American Gladiator. I don't know. I don't watch that show. Mike says looking for a visit to the doghouse.
He always is. He always wants to find his way there, but he never gets put there.
Todd says John is like 1 hour behind in chat. OMG, worse than Roman. No, Roman's worse than Roman.
Roman is pretty bad.
One's worse
John
than
can
Roman.
Get bad, but okay, it's 4:00 and we're at what time? We're only half an hour behind.
Yeah, that's not that bad.
That's not that bad for John at all.
Has Posh has been dead? Question mark. What do you think?
For us, no. I mean, ours is same. I mean, we haven't had any more or any less.
And Meg says, hey, all.
Hi, Meg. Are you defrosting out there?
And I guess I'm not supposed to mention anything about the war paint. Spam Banshee says, I can always count on you two for a good laugh. Swanky is a luxurious and expensive.
I don't know how this hair could look expensive, but it's not.
Well, the device that we used for it to happen is expensive.
No, it's not.
I thought it was.
I didn't use that.
You didn't use that one?
No.
Well, hell, I don't know. Well, why do you even have it then?
That one doesn't do this.
Anytime picker Roman. Todd told me he will never invite me on his live unless I move to Texas. No, you actually have to do an audition with your hand.
Yeah.
And if it's up to speed, then he might let you on.
Yeah.
Chatterbrains says, sorry I'm late. What did I miss? Sales still steady up here in Montana. Also got 6 inches of snow dumped the last 2 days.
You probably got, well, I don't know if it moved that fast, but you probably got the storm that came through here.
Well, here's a good question, Jenna. What do you do with an item you think is fake? Have a Louis Vuitton, pretty sure is fake. What's your advice on that?
Why are you asking me?
Because Mrs. I have to have this purse at the Kentucky yard sale, and it was $30. I said, well, why don't you see if they'll take 25? You know, just the way I am at yard sales. And the only reason why I even thought it could be a real purse is because it was chained to their house. So they had that purse and like 3 other purses on a chain, so no one would like take it and walk off with it. You know, I guess they fooled me, right? It's like, if you can't fool them without a chain, let's add a chain to make people think there's value here. So they took 25, and then you determined that it wasn't. It's
a fake. So I basically just Googled how to determine if the Louis Vuitton is real or not, and I read all of the key details, and it really didn't have any.
What have you done with it?
I use it as my carry-on from the plane.
There you go. And then, you know, if they lose it or damage it, hey, my Louis Vuitton, you ruined it.
It's no sweat.
Put in a claim for that thing. Let's see. Get into some. Todd says John got skanky lounge or skanky tongue. I'm telling you, I cannot read today. What's going on right now? Jovio says John is out of the doghouse now. Go gadget tongue power.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm not feeling it today, but I'm going to power through it nonetheless.
No, you're feeling it fine. You just can't get your mind to match your. As it was earlier, he choked on the soup that he was eating. And
okay, that's the first time in history that anyone's ever like had food go down the wrong pipe.
No,
okay,
this man moves at 1,000 miles per hour every single day, all day long. He doesn't slow down to step over a stool or step around it. He will slam right into it and then get mad.
You had the stool hiding around the corner.
It was under a counter.
Yes, and my big feet happened to hit the damn thing. It's
That's your problem.
Well, thanks for letting the world know.
Yeah.
Tommy says, I'm just going to start putting random false comments up since John isn't fact checking. We can really get some eBay rumors rolling. What did I read that wasn't true?
Fact checking. I don't know.
I'm just reading what people say. You know, I'm not. It would take me more than a couple minutes to fact check some of this stuff. Like I think someone had said something about, well, you know, trademark information regarding the act that I was talking about. I don't know. I mean, I'm not going to go through and try to see if that's true or not. I'm just going to read what people have to say, and everyone's going to have to figure it out for themselves if it makes sense. Jovial says, wasn't one of Inspector Gadget's abilities was to extend his body parts? Go Gadget.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're getting down the wrong side of the conversation here. Josh says, is anyone else in new offers beta program? Is there a new offers beta program?
I don't know, but Josh, why do you do that to yourself? Why?
Well, okay, so tell me more about it. I haven't seen anything or heard anything about that. So
I don't know. They're probably all the comments.
Andy says, all I have to say is spare tire. Let me tell you about that spare tire. It was sent back. They opened a return due to doesn't fit because they bought it for their HHR. I really think it's for a Honda Civic, but I can't prove it. But I just put the measurements in there, showed the measurements between the lugs and all that, and they bought it. They sent it back, and of course, what am I to do? It's in perfectly fine shape, but to relist it. So it's currently up for sale if anyone needs a spare tire, courtesy of Northern Illinois college students. Mary's Addicts' 49ers were best with Montana and Rice. That was a long time ago.
It was a very long time ago.
Josh Galt says, it is garbage. If you accept an offer, it goes back to the buyer and asks them if they accept that you'll accept their offer. It deletes the item from both accounts until answered.
Wow.
How is that any good?
That doesn't benefit anybody.
That sounds a lot like the old system, but worse. I like the way it is now. You know, they make you an offer, you accept it, they go and charge the credit card.
They charge the card and it's move along.
Yeah, I like that. Listen, says a while back I had someone report a pair of Prada shoes in their box from Saks Fifth Avenue as counterfeit, either to be nasty or they were ignorant.
Wow.
I mean, there's a lot of people that will be like,
a lot of people
maybe assume things. I wonder how many people actually just say from experience that, you know, this is counterfeit rather than looking at actual markings to determine, because I have to go like the websites and to check like, here's the 10 things that make this particular thing a counterfeit. And I even did that with those Jordans that we sold that were sent to authentication. They came back as counterfeit, or
I don't think they're
not counterfeit. They came back as inauthentic because the material didn't feel right. Something
it was shape. The shape of the shoe was not the shape, but they're used shoes, so they're going to be a little wonky. They're not going to be like brand new stiff shoes.
Josh says, I've already got my 3 strikes. I had 3 counterfeit Veros in a 5-minute period. Yeah, you can go from a perfect account to sorry, you're out in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's BS.
That is, so let's see what happens with this whole thing. It may never even pass and get out of Congress. But if it does, now we're going to have to worry. So let's not worry about it, but it's good to at least know about. Jack Emo says, have you guys experienced throttling? I just experienced a true example. Had a lot of sales and nonstop offers for about a week. Then sales dropped to 1, next day 2, today's 0. What do you think? I don't think we've seen that. I never thought of it as throttling. I think of it as sales cycles. So you have very good days. Rarely do you hear anyone say, you know, I think something's going on with eBay. I've sold like 20 items today. There's got to be a problem. No one says that. And I'm not disparaging you, Jack. I'm just saying that I think a lot of times we tend to notice the negative as an anomaly, but the positive things that happen are just like, hey, look, it happened. I've had days it's like, how do you go from a 0 day to $1,000 in sales?
Yeah.
You know, is it that maybe the sales happened on that day, but they didn't actually go through officially until the next day? I don't know.
He says traffic is the same in the performance section, very skeptical.
But I've seen that too. That's what's made me believe that traffic isn't even really accurate. And then
I don't think any of those things.
And then you see traffic reports, right? And you're like, okay. And then 2 weeks later, it's like now the traffic has changed. The same date range that you were just looking at is totally changed. You've got a ton more impressions and a ton more page views, or maybe less page views. It's just stupid. And of course, we are expected to believe, because eBay puts it out there as a report, that it's accurate, but they continually change it. Mm-hmm. And then we wonder, well, why is one day are we not getting sales and other days we are? And then some people say, well, it's the server you're on. And it's like, well, how do I sign up for that other server? And it's just, I don't even want to think about it, to be honest with you. That's why, Josh and I made that video about best practices, because ultimately that's what you can control, right? And then let the chips fall where they may.
Do what works for you and your business.
And then Guy Grew says that traffic stat, in my opinion, is faulty. I do believe that.
I agree.
Ashley says the Overland legal team were very aggressive and borderline scary, but professional. I knew my item was vintage and authentic, but I can't say I wasn't terrified.
Yeah.
First, they acted like they would sue.
Yeah,
and that's scary. Just it. There's a lot of legal teams out there representing companies coming at people saying, you need to take down this item and we need to be compensated for every item you've sold up to this point. Otherwise, we're going to go to court. And so you're left with, like, do I pay him $5,000-$10,000, or what do I do here?
Yeah. That can be frightening. Yeah. I mean, they can take a lot from you. You're just, here we are, we're little old eBay sellers, and, you got a big company coming after you over something that you may not have known.
Been flipping goods, just like IGEA, IGEA. I don't know. I've never heard of that.
What's IGEA?
I don't know. It's like IKEA's brother. I don't know. The Tommy Bernard podcast says, had a buyer say on an item was defective because it didn't fit. Measurements in description. eBay told me buyer isn't covered by eBay money back guarantee. Even if they do return the item, no refund required. Interesting. Now, buyer can say it didn't fit. When they select didn't fit, usually that's on the buyer to pay for the label, and you're not expected to give a refund of the original shipping charge if you charge that extra. I love it when you read ahead and laugh at me. I'm not reading ahead. It's almost not fair. I'm
reading about your IKEA's brother.
Oh, okay. Well, it could be IKEA's brother. Tommy says they have abused return policy too much and now have no coverage period. Okay, so that's what it is. So they flagged their account to say that that particular buyer was abusing the return system. Now, if they do that more often, then it'll renew my faith in eBay as it pertains to these bad buyers. Josh says buyers have to go to bids and offers, and my offers, and then answer the question there. That's ridiculous.
Wow.
We're talking about creating a low effort buying experience.
Yes.
That's like the opposite of that.
Absolutely.
Spam Banshee, one provision in the current draft of the bill with serious consequences for small businesses on eBay is a 3 strikes. Yes, 3 strikes and you're out. And just like Josh said, it could happen,
within 5 minutes.
I mean, let's hope they have something in there. Well, it can't be from the same company, or it can't be the same day. So, of course, you give warnings so that the seller can change their behavior, right? But if you're doing nothing wrong, what can you change? That's the only thing that I have a problem with. If someone's not doing anything wrong and you're taking action against them, what would you have them do differently to right the ship? It's almost an unfair position that they're putting sellers in.
Well, they're also making it more, they're just making more work for the buyer. I'm sorry, but when if I'm going to make an offer on something on eBay, I want it to be accepted or denied, and I'll move on. I want to pay and be gone. I want minimal contact with the person I'm buying for. Just like when I go to a store. If I go into Kohl's to buy a dress, I want to just go in, try it on, buy the dress, and leave. I don't want any other interactions.
So Ed says, I actually saw an eBay commercial on Peacock. It was about the authentication program. Yeah, but any of these featured categories, eBay Motors, authentication, right? Things that they're putting most of their eggs in, and they're really focused on those featured categories. They're going to spend money to advertise. But the rest of us, nope, we don't exist.
Yeah.
JR Jr. says, good afternoon. Explain this one. I see this all the time. I see an item brand new in the box and I'm selling the same one new. Mine is cheaper. The other one that's more has got more bids. Well, now you're talking about bids. So that's auction. Now, what could have happened is they could have used Promoted Listings Express, which is a promoted listings program for auctions only, where eBay gives that item more exposure. So your item could be buried in page 3 of search for the first 5 days. Usually the last 12 hours, they'll give it a little bit better exposure on like page 1. But your listing all that time has been buried on page 3 or 4, and your competition who paid eBay up front like $1, $2, $3, $4, $5 for that Promoted Listings Express, they're giving it higher ranking, maybe even on page 1 for the duration of the listing. So you're going to get more people that know about it, more watchers. More watchers means that when the item's about to end, more people will go in and drive up the price. So for me, if you have like, I had all those records, want to get rid of them, get them gone. And so I was fine paying $1, it was like 99 cents up front to ensure that I was going to get more exposure for that listing. Ping says, I have been seeing the eBay authentication program advertised on my YouTube videos. Yeah. Tommy says the price is only one small factor in a sea of many factors. That's the answer. Yep. And yeah, what are you starting off the listing at? Did you start it off? You started off at $19.99. Your competition started off at $9.99. Inherently, more people are going to be, it's going to grab their attention. But I'm willing to believe that they used Promoted Listings Express on that one. Anytime Picker says, I'm currently working on Tommy's reselling biography. When it's done, I'll do giveaway on the live. It'll be a hardcover book. Big Dre, Tex said you can't survive off 100,000 gross on eBay anymore. On his last live, a reseller from Bolo Buddies brought it to his attention. So that ties into the first step of reselling. And it ties into your situation. If you're living in the Bay Area in California, well, no. You're running at a 50, let's say even a 60% margin, which is tougher to do these days.
It's not happening.
So make $50,000 to $60,000 in a year pre-tax. That's like poverty level in the Bay Area. But maybe you're in the Midwest. If you're in the Midwest, maybe you can and have hardly any bills. You can make that work. So to put a flat number out like that and to say you just can't make it work, it eliminates too many of the other intangibles that I guess, and I didn't watch the video. I do know the video you're talking about. I just haven't had a chance to watch it. But it's really so many factors that are involved in that statement that you really can't make that assessment, I don't think. How many people have car payments versus they have an old beater car that maybe has ran just fine. All they got to do is do oil changes and gas and they're good. And that's maybe a difference of $500, $600, $700, $800, sometimes $1,000 between that seller and the seller that has the car payment. So this really depends on your situation. And like we talk about, how much are you buying your items for? If you're overpaying, then and you're making that $100,000 and your margin after everything's said and done is like 30%. Yeah, it's going to be hard to live anywhere on 30,000. Josh says the other issue is that the buyer isn't notified that they won the item. The seller has to send the item to the acceptance link, but eBay blocks hyperlinks in the message. Yeah, I think it's time to just get rid of that program. If you've opted in, it's time to opt out of that. Spam says 3 strikes policy, which would require all platforms to permanently ban sellers with 3 alleged counterfeit takedowns from their platform. Alleged counterfeit. Yep. Guilty until proven innocent. And even if you can prove yourself innocent, you're still guilty. Have a nice day. Tommy says 100K is like minimum wage with inflation and everything. I mean, you're out in Delaware, so you see a lot higher cost of living. Whoops. But someone like in the Midwest might be able to pull it off. I can tell you that, what did we make on eBay last year? Like around $140,000 is what we made between both accounts. That's just eBay. And that's not make. That's what we sold. And running at about a 50% margin, cut that in half. And that's what we did there. And then you have YouTube, which was about $11,000 before taxes. And then I have some the other the sites we cross post onto, and maybe some sponsorships and some side business that I have that I do with my buddy who runs a trucking company. We made quite a bit more than that. Undercover Treasure Hunters says, joining late, saw the title now. We are worried. 3 strikes is why we had to close our first eBay shop. Etsy shop. Totally frustrating. We'll have to go back and listen from the beginning. And all that was, go check out the first 5 or 10 minutes after we're done here. But
maybe fast forward the first 5.
No, because that goes into what I was reading through the article.
It was a joke.
Wasn't a very funny joke. But nonetheless, I wouldn't worry about it really. Let's just sign up for Main Street, be involved, be aware. And if things come out of that process, that whole legislative process where it actually passes, then we have a conversation to where we need to take action to the best of our ability. I don't know what that is, but let's cross that bridge when we get there. AJ I3, that's not true because I have 370% growth this month. Look, I'm not saying it is true. I'm just telling you that's what Josh has told me a number of times when we have this conversation. But what kind of kept coming to my mind was, well, January was like $4,000. I had a $4,000 month in 2023 in January. And then it went to a $12,000 month the following month. That's like a 400% growth just from only change I made was selling a different type of item. Basket Noodle, look, trademark infringement isn't only counterfeits. That's the danger. Yeah, Vero complaints too. That is pretty bizarre. Well, this is why I'm glad I've been dropping prices on a lot of my listings or removing best offer. Hustle Magnets, Rihanna was pregnant and did a great job. Stop it. I didn't watch the thing. You know what? When halftime comes, I'm getting up, time to get more food, maybe use the restroom. It's time to talk to people. If you're at a party, and nobody really watches the show unless you're.
No, everybody.
I don't like
lots
watching the shows.
of people. Just because you are not everybody.
I'm telling you what I've seen at parties. People don't camp out in front of the TV like when the game's on.
Sometimes that's when all the women come out, and that's when that's when they're in.
Who here watches the Super Bowl only for the commercials? That's what I want to know. Who really watches those games for the commercials? Now, it used to be when we go to the party, we'd have a thing where we had a game. You put in $20. Someone would have a bingo board made up with all the different things, like maybe the brand, maybe the actor, maybe they saw like an umbrella, because someone actually vetted all the commercials ahead of time. I think they released them like the day before. So they made up all these different bingo boards. And then whoever hits like different bingos will get X prize, right?
But you had to be watching the commercials.
Yeah. That's the only time I'm watching the commercials for that.
But I mean, not everybody who plays or sings or is an act for a Super Bowl halftime is everybody's cup of tea,
Tommy Bernard says Josh will learn one day not to join anything new eBay does as he bangs his head on the desk daily. But in Josh's defense, look, he's a lot like me where we're looking for the next thing that's going to help us get over the hump, right? So yes, we're getting sales, but we're not quite satisfied with the sales we're getting. So does this new thing, whatever it is it going to give me an edge? And I think every business needs to look at how to give themselves an edge when they can. So I don't blame him for thinking that like that.
I know. Poor Josh.
Maya says, I looked at the beta program and it seems like a how-to on how to be a nuisance buyer. Send offers to multiple sellers and just pay for the one you want. Yeah, that's horrible. Now, maybe that was driven from eBay asking buyers, well, what's one problem you see on the platform? Well, now I can't make 1,000 offers to people and you're going to charge my credit card and all the offers that I make. And I only want the one item, and I really just want to get a good deal. And maybe this is their answer to that complaint. I don't know. 5 Figure says now you can create sales on the app and sold items have a new look. Oh, yeah. Are you talking about like markdown sales? Because I haven't seen that.
You can create sales on the app and sold items have a new look.
Okay, we'll have to check that out. Remy, does it really matter how much you list a day? No, but it's more, okay, eBay doesn't say if you list 5 to 10 to 20 items a day, you're gonna make more sales than someone who lists only 2 items a day. But really, it's about activity. It's about giving eBay activity, whether that's listing today, tomorrow I'm going to go through and edit other listings, right? Consistent activity. And I think the daily listing thing for me is about creating a habit within yourself, creating a work ethic within your business to where you don't even have to think about it. I'm listing 10 items today. And if I list more, great. If I, don't hit my goal of 10 or whatever your goal might be, okay, well, I didn't hit it today, but it's creating that work ethic within your business and not being that guy that says, eBay doesn't care if I don't list today. I'm going to go watch some TV and have some popcorn, and then now you've only listed twice during the week and maybe you've tinkered here and there with eBay throughout the week, 5 minutes here, 10 minutes there, but really haven't given it enough attention. And I think that certainly does hurt sellers that have that mentality.
Like I've said before, eBay likes to be caressed daily.
Tommy, he says, I've never seen a forced beta. So he's wondering if they forced Josh to do that little best offer program. But
no, but if you read Josh's thing up there.
Yeah. But I'll go back and read it. But my point is that all of us, and why the hell is this green? I didn't change the power hour. I just noticed that. I didn't change the color from the power hour. But I've never seen a forced beta. We all are working under a forced beta every day. We are all beta testers on the eBay platform. So that in itself is a forced beta. Josh says, this is one of them. It just happened to be me randomly today. Apparently this rollout has been happening for weeks. Yeah. But yeah, anytime you list on eBay, we're in beta mode. We are certainly in beta mode. Roman says listing how much you want to earn per day is good.
Yes.
I think, yeah, and that's another thing. Listing 10 items a day, right? I did say that. I think it's more about the value. So does 10 items put $500 into your account in value? I think you need to look at that more than anything else. Does that mean I have 2 $500 items? I'll list 2 items today for $1,000. Yeah. I think it's consistently putting value into your store. Maya thinks that the thing that Josh is dealing with is the dumbest thing I've seen eBay put out in a long time. And Beard, I was wondering about you. Sorry I'm late. I was being held hostage by a THC gummy. Can you please start over?
Hey, you going live tonight?
I think he is. Noah Design says, Devon, I don't know, haven't made a listing, just looking at the item, deciding to keep it as a paperweight or send it to Tommy as a gag. I'd send it to Tommy as a gag. Yeah. Josh says, I didn't sign up for it. I just changed today. I never had an issue with offers before, but this is next level messed up. Yeah, time to get rid of that.
So if he didn't sign up for it,
time to find a way to opt out of it.
Get out of it somehow.
We didn't opt in for eBay international shipping.
Exactly.
They automatically opted everyone in at a certain point last year. So find a way to opt the heck out of that. Because look, there's enough beta going on eBay. You don't need another beta added in your life. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
Paul Rose, that happens if they're a serial offender. eBay won't cover them. Sold an Italian buyer a new vintage English FIFA book. That's soccer. He pretended I sent a used Italian version. A dealer not covered. Maya, Josh, it looks like it's not intended to give you immediate payment.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's no good. And then Josh says if it goes on for more than a week, getting rid of the best offer, which would suck because I spent 1 billion hours setting minimum bid amounts.
Oh, God, that's so
yeah, I don't set minimums at all. But nonetheless, I hear what you're saying. I would. Yeah. This is one of those times where maybe reaching out to eBay for business and saying, hey, what are you guys doing? Because look, I'll just give the example again. eBay international shipping. eBay should not have opted everyone in to eBay international. They should have simply said, look, if you have global shipping, if you're in that program, it's going to cease to happen unless you go into your settings and opt in. We want you to opt in, because when they do that kind of thing, it affects our businesses. For a solid like 3 or 4 days, our sales went into the tank until we opted out.
Yeah.
And this could be one of those things, just like eBay international shipping, where it could be broken and it could be affecting your sales. Devon says, all I know is my husband bought a square for the Super Bowl. Yeah, we've got a couple squares, and I don't even know what our numbers are.
Squares?
And, yeah, squares.
You didn't ask me.
I never ask you. I just buy them.
Every Super Bowl you do.
Ask you what?
If I would like to get in.
Well, I was asked to get in, so I got in with Dwayne. So
rude.
Oh boy, this is not the first time. Tommy says, yeah, that's wild. They didn't give that option to test. I would just turn offers off and price aggressively. Yeah, that's probably the thing. But I would reach out to eBay for Business and find out how you can shut that thing off without shutting it off. You know, shutting off their beta program, but keeping in the best offer as we know it. Karen says, was listing earlier today, getting my mojo slowly back to my motivation to get more listings up.
Yes.
Karen, I don't know what it is. I felt that way earlier in the week. Early in the week, it's like I just don't feel like doing anything. I mean, that's why you didn't see a whole lot of videos. I made one video this week. That's not like me. I just didn't feel it. I just felt like doing nothing. And that doesn't happen very often. I don't know what it is. Did you notice that?
That you were off? Yes.
Yeah. I didn't want to do anything.
Well, you told me you were off.
Hopefully
he kept wandering around the house. I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
I was doing all kinds of things, but I just didn't really want to get in my flow, right? I was just fine because, with me, I'm constantly doing all kinds of different things. So I might be handling business. I might be cooking. I might be doing just all kinds of things around the house. And maybe that's just what it is. Maybe I'm spreading myself too thin. Josh says, hi, John and Jen. Do you cross-list the Poshmark? If you do you use any auto-sharing software to share daily? So we use, and I'm saying this only to make Josh laugh, or not Josh, but Tommy laugh. That is Poshmark. We use Poshmark, which is Posher VA, is the correct way to say it. But they just hit my account for $25, and you just run it on a daily. It's like an app on your phone, and it's worth it. You get more exposure because you're playing the Poshmark sharing game, because they are a social media sales platform. They don't want you to ignore the social media part of it. Yeah, you can sell without sharing, but the concept of you have a lot of people following your Poshmark account. Like we have 200,000 people. So whenever it shares it, it's going into the feed of 200,000 people who weren't searching for that item. They just turned on their app and they saw a bunch of our items on their screen. So there's something to it, and it works pretty well. But we do cross list to Poshmark and onto Mercari from the secondary account. On my main account, I manually cross post over to Bonanza, which is an automated thing through the Bonanza platform, and over to Amazon. And just to tell you, I've been working on some things or a project here the last few days, something I'm excited to talk to you about, but I'm not quite ready to talk about it as just a teaser. But it's something pretty exciting that I'm going to be talking about here pretty soon, and I can't wait to tell you about it. That has a little bit to do with cross-listing, and I'm sure that most of you guys won't even be able to guess what it is. So we'll just leave it at that. Guide Guru says, yeah, Maya, that's just not paying for accepted offer with extra steps. Yeah, I think that's just a hot mess there. Richard Spanuski says, hi, J&J. Bad news. My wife saw a shadow. That means 6 more weeks of spending my eBay profits. Let's see. Tommy says you can bulk edit auto decline. I have mine set at 20% off. Anything less, I don't see it. Kelly, I think that's Surfer Dude Kelly.
Yep.
Same, Tommy. I have set it to auto decline more than 30% off. You still get those people that message you, but it's alleviated a lot of headache. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I just think there's something about, look, even if they give you a low ball, that there's a small chance that okay, I tried. Okay, what's the best deal you can give me? Kind of mentality that they might have, and then you bring them back up to reality. Here's the lowest that I'm willing to take, and if it works for them, maybe they'll buy it. And if it's just 1 out of every 10 that do, that's 10% more sales than I would be getting if I had it set to an auto decline. I don't know. Secondhand Maple says, I'm curious, what's your opinion of Etsy taking a stab at advertising to the Super Bowl versus eBay kind of sitting on their keisters? I think anytime you're advertising in front of hundreds of millions of people, that is can do nothing but good for your brand recognition. It's going to get more people to think, you know what, my sales are slow on eBay. Let me check out Etsy. Or it's going to get more buyers to the site, because it's always about traffic, right? That's what gets my attention. I would be really high on a site like Bonanza if they had the kind of traffic that eBay has, but they don't. I think Bonanza in many ways is a more stable platform. I've never had a return request out of the 20 items I think we've sold.
Knock on
Yeah.
particle
Yeah.
board.
But just haven't had any issues. It's been smooth sailing on Bonanza anytime I've had an interaction with someone. So if you can get more awareness, brand awareness, then that's...
Yeah, because I would never know about Bonanza if we were not in this area.
You got to sell today. Got the email, and
We've got our monthly sale.
And that's the only way I know I get a sale on Bonanza, because they don't have, for whatever reason, they don't have an app, which is ridiculous to me. They need to put money into their platform and get maybe in front of more people, like Temu did last year. Think about what Temu did. Before the Super Bowl last year, nobody knew about Temu. I knew about them because they were hitting me up for sponsorship deals. But after the Super Bowl, people started talking about Temu. And it's because of that ad placement in the Super Bowl that got them brand recognition. And now they're a direct competitor to eBay.
Say Temu again.
Temu.
No, say it again.
Temu?
Why do you say it like that? It drives me
What
nuts.
What is the name?
Temu. It's Temu.
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 Well, okay.
Why you go Mew? Like, it's not Mew. It's
they Temu. Tell you never make fun of someone's accent, right?
Oh, police.
You make fun of Josh's accent when he says bean instead of bin.
Okay.
I'm not making
fun. Okay. Don't
be
even
hurtful.
Put me out in the street and run me over with a bus.
Don't be hurtful. I'm saying it the best I can.
I'm not being hurtful. I'm saying, why are you saying it like that? It's not.
You know what? The way I look at, they don't deserve to be. I don't like Temu. That's just me. I'll say Temu all day long because I've always said it that way, and I'm not going to stop anytime soon. I think that company directly hurts eBay sellers, especially if you're selling those same kind of items.
It's like you're saying Temu, 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 Temu.
Are you done?
So
you're interrupting the broadcast here.
Okay.
So I think that anytime we support that company, whether we shop there or cringe, even as creators, even sponsor their business, I think it's really bad for eBay. Mm-hmm. Tommy says eBay and Etsy are two different worlds. Won't affect eBay in the slightest. Well, it won't affect eBay. eBay. I'm not saying it'll affect eBay, but it'll affect Etsy. It'll certainly give Etsy a boost. I'm certain of it. Nicole Smith says, glad I tuned in today. I took a retail job back in November and haven't listed in months. My store has just been sitting, although I pay $21.95. I need the motivation. Yeah.
You got this, Nicole. Just start listing.
I'm more motivated today than I was even a couple days ago because I think burnout is a real thing. But I think the motivator here is the fact that you went back to work in November means you needed the money. And if you need the money, that should be a motivating factor to get your butt going and get your items listed.
Yeah, that way you don't have to work the retail job.
Get it going. Build your business up.
And, make it consistent.
Tommy says, having Roman on messed up your English and chat game up royally. Oh, poor Roman. I'm sorry. I'm sorry I had to read that. Josh says, 3 big rollouts for sellers right now. Manual promoted listings, advanced beta. 3 strikes, you're out policy, best offers, acceptance beta. So the
I don't
three
want to
strikes.
be a part of
Well,
any beta.
the 3 strikes you're out policy isn't even a thing yet. It's still in legislation. eBay's not going to enact that policy until they absolutely have to, because they know, look, their business relies on 2 things: buyers and sellers. Yes, they want to have buyers come back because they've had good experiences from not dealing with counterfeit nonsense. But they know that most of these sellers aren't into counterfeiting. If they lose half of their sellers due to bogus counterfeit claims, that hurts their business. So they know that they want to fight that, and that's a BS legislation. So they're never going to put that into play until they actually have to. U.S. Freedom 5 says, why are so many sellers of packaging tape grifters, and the negatives and neutrals getting away with a lot? I just want to buy and receive my tape. Well, there's a lot of people that run their eBay business and they never interact at all with their customers. They have message after message after message after message that go unanswered. They don't provide good customer service. When they make mistakes, they'll never know because they don't read the customer's message to them. They get return requests, and they probably will answer those, but sometimes they don't. But they get away with it because they're bringing in a lot of money. Like that one seller that I showed you guys a while back, making hand over fist, sale after sale after sale, the worst titles ever, the worst feedback ever, and they had great prices. They had a good product with a great price. And it's hard to beat that, even with all the little things we tell you to do that the algorithm's looking for. If you have a good item with a great price, people are going to find it, and you're going to succeed on eBay. Biff Boffo says, I worked in a restaurant that made tortilla soup weekly. We ran the tortillas through a paper shredder to make thin strips for garnish.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just took a pizza cutter and cut them up and then fried them up.
Guide says, looks at that word salad. They're getting ridiculous super auto manual promoted great value listings offsite beta 3000 super fun time. Are you trying to trip me up here? It isn't working. You guys are something else. Got Shane with us. Hey, I found my people. Thanks for being here, Shane. And then Paul says, wow, Josh, if that offer nonsense gets to me, I think I'll just ditch offers and lower prices. I'd rather not, as it generates sales and visibility, but I just don't see how that will work. Maybe turn off offers and put a little blurb in there. See something you like, hit me up and make an offer. I don't know. That's kind of what they say on Poshmark, right?
Guide says yes, but you did it flawlessly.
Because, like, look, the first 15 minutes, my Mio hasn't kicked in, right?
Oh, it's running in full steam right now.
Jerry Johnson says, John, use some of those eyeglasses you had a while ago. No, actually, I probably could throw my contacts on, and maybe because I have the actual screen I'm reading from is a little bit further back, that might be part of it too. But I don't know. Maybe I'll go monovision tomorrow. Not tomorrow, but on Monday. No one designs as John gets smaller feet.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, at least watch where you're walking.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Guy Guru says, I wouldn't be upset if
you're so high up and you have to look so far down.
Are you done? Are you done attacking me? You've been attacking me for my feet, through the way I say team you. I'm serious. This is just wrong.
This is what happens when you live, work, breathe, sleep, everything together. 24/7.
That's how
I cannot wait.
Did they not tell you this when you were getting married? Like, did you realize that this is what it is involved in?
No, I didn't necessarily sign up to work with you.
Okay.
But here we are. Okay. So everybody needs a little break.
I think he said he didn't have a choice, which is whack.
That's what I thought he said.
I don't know. I think you're talking about Josh's deal, right?
Yeah.
Lisa says, does end and sell similar help with sales? I think it does, only because you're giving it your item that new listing tag. So whenever you do that process, your item comes up and it says right next to the title, when you look it up, it says new listing. And your item's going to get a little bit better boost in search because of that. Now, there's a debate on how often that you do it. I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to talk about it when I can. But I'm glad you just keep the end item sell similar thing in mind, because hopefully we have some interesting things to talk about here pretty soon. The eBay grind grandma says, hi guys, 2 months of crickets is horrible. How are your sales? Consistent.
2 months of crickets? That's not good.
Curious though, eBay grind grandma, what are you selling? Are you everything seller? Do you sell within a niche? You know, that
you don't have to be
help.
so
No, you don't have to say I sell a blue Nike polo.
It kind of just gives us a better idea.
Yeah, it is. You know, if someone else that sells in your niche is doing well, then is there an issue? Is there something that you can do that's going to change it? Shane had 2 sales, $345 though, so I'm cool. Yeah, there you go. That's what it's about.
I
Doesn't
bet
matter
if
how many.
everybody had 2 sales worth $25, they would be happy. So, I mean, most. There are some, Tommy and Josh who have to have, $5,000 a day.
Well, it goes hand in hand with the, the number of items you list versus how much value you put in the store.
Yeah.
So, okay, so flip the script on there. I made 10 sales today and I made $200 versus I made 2 sales and I only made $345. Which one would you rather be? The latter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Carol's late to the party, but you're here.
But you're here now.
I'm behind the party, see? So I'm way behind. I'm way behind. I got to really do some skipping here. So Tommy says, our best items sell if you don't replace your best items with equal or better items daily. That causes roller coaster sales.
Yes.
Junior says, good afternoon. Explain this one. I see it all the time. I see an item brand new in the box and I'm selling the same one. Mine is cheaper. The other one that's more, get more. You put that in again because you saw that I wasn't reading it yet. I read that already. Sadistic says, too many sellers, not enough buyers to go around. So they're shifting eyeballs back and forth to give each other a taste so they don't leave. I think so. I think that there is something to that. If they give all the sales to 10% of the sellers, 70% are going to give up and go somewhere else. But if you kind of spread it around while trying to make that 10% happy, I think that that works for a lot of people. That keeps people hoping, right? Let's see. Let's see if I can get down to some comments here. Silverhair says, everything I have done in reselling the last 8 years, I have learned for free watching good YouTubers. Yes. Mm-hmm. And be careful who you watch. If there's more complaints than solutions, or maybe more complaints than trial and error, then unless you like being in that company, it's time to find someone who's going to give you solutions.
You want to watch people who are positive mindset and who look for solutions, not adding to the chaos of everyday eBay. I mean, honestly.
Benny Stratton says, Tech said in his video today that most sellers run at 40 to 50% costs, and that is just for eBay selling costs, fees, and shipping. Well, see, that's the problem when you say most sellers. So I know that Tech has a lot. He's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to bolos and stuff that sells, and the man knows his niche like the back of his hand. I'm not going to say that he doesn't, but I think a lot of times when you hear Tech speak, it's about what he's very familiar with, which is men's clothing. So when he's saying that, most sellers, insert most clothing sellers or men's clothing sellers, run at 40%, 50% costs. And that is probably adding in, I'm hopeful that's adding in cost of goods. If it's not, then that means that whoever's buying their stuff is buying too high. And 40 to 50% costs from shipping and fees tells me that they're offering free shipping when they probably shouldn't, and or they're promoting way too high of a level, because I'm charging shipping above and beyond what I'm making now. If what I sell the item for. So if I sell the item for $100 and shipping's say $30, that's $130. I'm paying fees on that $130. I found a way to pay $23 for that $30 label. So I'm paying for most of my eBay fees right there. And then, so I'm maybe making $70, $80 on the sale. And then adding my cost of goods, $5 to $10. So I'm making a really good chunk. I can easily get to 50% margin, whereas others aren't doing a lot of those things, and they're not able to. So it just depends on who he's talking about. But I can tell you that I'm doing much better than that. What is that? Let's move on.
Wow.
Sir Mix-a-Lot, I tell you. The eBay grind grandma says was thinking of trying out this new handmade selling site maker place through Michael's. I made handmade voodoo dolls and spirit dolls, but I hate signing up with my personal information on new venues. Yeah, I know what you're saying. It's just the way of the world now. I mean, everything's digital, and even if you don't sign up again ever in your life online, your information's already out there. Let's see. I'm catching up. See, Back at you says calculated shipping. Does a buyer have the option to choose which method? No. You know, it's funny. You put like standard shipping, right? As the method that you're going to ship. Let's say you have free shipping on the item. The buyer can select priority or like ground advantage, because I've seen it. It's like, I would never ship this ground advantage, you know, when you have it set for standard. But when you have it set calculated FedEx, that's the only shipping that they're going to get an option for. Gus Quayes says, I pregame too hard and fall asleep before the coin toss. Operation Liquidation says, we're selling $300K a year. I make about $40K off it part-time. There you go. Like seeing big numbers. Let's see. Miss Shea resells. The accepted offer going into... Miss Lachey resells. The accepted offer going into limbo has been happening for weeks. Happened to me once, maybe happening today, as no accepted offers have paid yet. I didn't sign up for anything. Ooh. That's not good.
That's not good.
Venom says, did eBay add something new, something to do with offers? For some people, apparently.
Yeah.
Now, I haven't seen that, so I guess I'm going to do some investigation here this evening, but that's a concern. They shouldn't.
You are just flying. I can't even read anything.
But the thing is, because I have control of the mouse, I got this. Aardvark says, I cross-list from eBay to 2 closets in Poshmark and Mercari. I cross-list myself. I canned Bonanza. When it first started, they were okay, but now I also have my YouTube channel. Well, the only thing about Bonanza that's better than any other option is that there's nothing to do other than connect your accounts.
Do anything on Bonanza.
It's like we had a sale today. I got an email notification on my phone. It's like, wow, I got a sale. Yeah. And sometimes I don't see that, and I'm a day or two late. No problem. I go and check my account, see a sale, ship it out, and it's like seamless.
And you have to remember too that we don't cross list our main store. We cross list from our secondary store to Poshmark and Mercari. So the main store is connected to Bonanza.
See, Temu tomato.
You know what?
So, and then Soda City Flips, Temu, John, get it right.
Yes.
They don't deserve that. That platform doesn't deserve getting it right. I'll just say that. So I guess unless you're a cheerleader for that site, then
he's not.
No, not Shane.
Oh.
I'm just saying, in general, if you happen to be, if you're one of those people who love Temu, then I can see them getting upset. Carol C says Shane is with her husband there. Huh? Okay.
Shane ESP.
Shane ESP with her husband there. I don't know. Patricia says this explains something that mystified me this week. A buyer made an offer on all of my mid-century clocks, which are each over 300. That just doesn't happen. Well, that might have.
Yep.
That might be what's happening.
Affecting us in more ways or more people than we really knew.
Simple, beautiful. Why is there legislation to control private sellers? I guess you can say why is there legislation for really any industry? It's a good question. Good question. I think you should just deal with the people who are proven to be counterfeiters and get them off the site. Once you have proof, you shouldn't need legislation for that. That should be an obvious thing from eBay's standpoint. John Gaynor says, hi, John and Jenna, or Jenna and John. Another great show. Love all the information you gives us all. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Awesome. Thanks for being here. Despite my slip-ups when I'm reading your comments. Jerry Johnson says, tall people have to have big feet or they would fall flat on their face.
That is true.
That's right.
But he doesn't watch where he's going.
Chastity says, would like to see if you guys are
like
handling.
There's a horn honking.
Because there is. Chastity says, would like to see how you guys are handling in similar with Vendu. Hopefully that's an upcoming vid.
Just leave it.
It's not an upcoming vid the way you worded it. So we'll leave it there.
Yeah.
Jay Corona says, hello. Thank you so much for recommending Vendu. It is easy to cross post to the other platforms. You're very welcome.
You're welcome.
Glad to. And just stay tuned. That's all I got to say. Chastity
There's
says,
something really exciting coming.
Well, you know, thanks, Tommy. I do it one at a time through and tweak it, but it seems to take longer than it did when it was ending and selling similar on eBay. Let's see if we have any other questions, because we're getting to near the end of this deal, and I want you guys to head over to Bearded Picker's channel. He's going to continue the show.
Thank you, Carol.
I'm assuming he is. I haven't seen any notifications, but I saw him pop in here. I'm assuming he's going live tonight in the next 5 minutes.
Hi, Larry.
So let's raid his channel when we're done here. Rebecca says, the last few days I've had accepted offers disappear. Was wondering what that's happening. So yeah, what's going on, eBay? You know, like I said to Tommy earlier, we are all in beta mode. We are all beta testing something.
Yes.
And so this is one thing that's happening to some, maybe all of us, and we don't even know it.
Right.
But they're not going to tell us. And we're beta testing without our knowledge. We're being forced into beta mode. It's unfortunate. That's the way I look at it. That's just my opinion, but it's part of the process, part of selling on the platform. But in the meantime, I want you guys to follow the link in the description box. Go over to eBay Main Street, sign up, get involved, because if, you know, it gets kind of to where they're about to pass this thing, who knows? It's been sitting on in front of Congress since September, and this was actually something that was put into place in 2022 before it was shot down. That's the Shop Safe Act. Then you're going to want to be aware, and they're going to make you aware. They're going to tell you what's going on through email. And I think collectively as a community, we can get together just like they did 2022, where 25,000 sellers got behind them and got them to change their tunes. So that's the answer. Hopefully it never happens, but at least we are all aware that it's a possibility. And figuring all that out is yet another example of how flipping ain't easy. And I want you guys to have a great weekend. Hope the team you're rooting for in the Super Bowl wins. And we will talk to you guys on Monday's Live.
Bye, guys.
Take care, everyone.